for Magnus Carlsen, and Jan, he should be feeling much better about his chances.
A great game by Jan, and what I especially liked from him is that when he got into a winning position, he took his time. He took his time to find the precise moves, and he put Magnus away. We saw that earlier in the match. He got some good positions, but he rushed a little bit, and that's where he let Magnus escape and even turn the game around. But we see that if he takes his time, he's able to beat Magnus.
And we also see that when Magnus loses a game, he goes back to a more solid approach. Look at this. Queens are off the board. It's not going to give Jan tactical opportunities. He firmly believes that he can beat Magnus, he can beat Jan in endgames that may look equal but have more to them than initially meets the eye.
Exactly, yeah. So perhaps move c3 here, restricting the knight on c6. It can no longer go to b4. And you defend the pawn on b4 once more. Bishop g4, a nice developing move by Jan. I assume he should be doing fine here with a rook moving to e8. But like I said before, Robert, Magnus is playing for these very small advantages. His pieces are slightly more flexible. The knight on c8, knight on c6, sorry, cannot go anywhere for the moment. Rook e8, the knight on e2 for the moment is under attack though.
And Magnus was mad at himself. I think the reason why is when he played c3, after the knight went to c6, his knight couldn't jump to e5, which was one of his major plans. So Magnus seems like he's a bit uncomfortable with what's been happening, and this position does look good for white in the sense that there's no immediate risk in the position. The knight can't go to f5 now because the e2 knight was loose. He plays g4, gains more space. That knight can go to g3 for e2 as well. I can't say that I love white's position, but I think it's a nice small plus, Karpovian style.
Exactly, yeah. He just has a little bit more space for his pieces. They can maneuver a little bit easier. I guess this knight wants to go to g2, maybe this knight wants to go to g3, king f2, bishop e2, move this rook into the game, then slowly but surely expand on the king side. This looks like vintage Magnus, so let's see how he will try to tighten the screws into that game.
Brings up knight back to g2. That allows him to play bishop f4. Next, if he wants to trade those pieces, he can also play h4, king f2, rook h1, maybe strike. And I think this is a mistake that many players make. They think, oh, just because the queens are off the board, there's no such thing as an attack. I think white can go after the black king with those pawn pushes up the king side.
Exactly, yeah. What we have here is called a queenless middle game. Only the queens have been traded, but for the rest, all the pieces are still on the board. King g7 by Jan, moving his king up the board a little bit. Perhaps this move bishop f4 that you suggested earlier, Robert, it would force the trade of bishops. Black would have to trade, as otherwise white's going to trade themselves and give you double isolated pawns on d6. And then the knight will come to f4, and g5 all of a sudden is a threat.
I love it. And so bishop f4 looks reasonable. I might even start with h4. an opportunity. He is now up a pawn and better.
Wait, but bishop takes d5. Here's the thing, Robert. If you go rook d7, there's bishop e3. But does he have bishop to c2? Oh, there's rook d2, and then your bishop is hanging. So, what is the move here for Jan? He goes rook c2 check, but now king g3 maybe?
Oh, and there's rook d2 because the rook takes e2. The king can take back, protecting the rook on d1. So, what was the miss there from Jan? It was not easy to spot.
No, for sure it was not. So let's see what he's going to do here. Perhaps he's going to trade. The king will recapture. He can take on e5. Black should be doing absolutely fine here, but keep in mind, he's down in the match, so he would like to take advantage of any opportunity he can get. So can he perhaps cook up something here?
It is officially the final game in the 5+1, and we see pieces are being traded off. Jan realizes that he should be able to hold the draw here, but I prefer the knight to the bishop, because in this endgame, the knight can hop from color complex to color complex. The bishop is stuck in the light squares and not attack anything. Of course, it should be a draw, but much of chess should be a draw without someone making a mistake, and mistakes happen, especially when the players are down to infinity each.
Exactly, and keep in mind that this pawn at h4 can turn into a weakness. If black can go king e6 to f5, black can also play for win. So it's not that easy here for Magnus as well. Also, the position is fairly open, and that often favors the bishop. So let's see what Magnus will do. He goes knight e4. Now Jan has to trade as the pawn on f6. He is under attack, and then perhaps he has the time to step on this king.
King e6, there might be knight c5 check, so that could work out for black, but you need to be careful. So he plays b6 first, of course, and yeah, there doesn't seem to be any more forward jumps. King e6 coming. Benjamin, you make a good point. The black could actually win this game if white's not careful, and that king goes up to f5 and into g4.
Exactly, so king f4 by Magnus. Now king e6, the black king can move up to, well, it could not have moved up to d5 because of knight f6, but here we see bishop c6 and knight c3. For the moment, Magnus has stopped being that king